Hello guys, this is What About Nintendo. Today I'm here for another vlog. Last time was an update video, but today we have an actual topic to talk about, and that is Labo VR, or more specifically Zelda VR, and why I think it is a game changer, and I think that people are not giving it a fair shake and are coming up with negative reviews when I think if they actually went back and did it right, that they would actually really enjoy it. Of course, not everybody, because not everything's for everybody, but I think a lot of these people are just being a little rushed. So let's get right on into it. So why do I think people are not giving its fair share? Well, I've seen a lot of reviews and just podcasts and different people talking about Labo VR and Zelda VR and how you really shouldn't buy, Labo VR for Zelda VR because it's not that great, and it's very motion sickness heavy and all that kind of stuff. And I've seen people on Twitter like, oh, I put it on for 5 seconds and I almost threw up and I took it off and never played it again. It's like, oh, that's the problem. You tried it for like 5 seconds and it was like, nope, sucks, it's terrible, and then just left it. Like, you can't do that. So I'm gonna give you a tip. I know Game explained it, a whole thing on it. You should probably go watch it if you really want to get, all the tips for how not to get motion sick and how the best way to play it is. But turn off motion controls, guys. Don't have it on. Head tracking is the problem. You're moving your head and the frame rate's so low, and your head just gets confused and it makes you very motion sick. Turn that off and just play the game normally. Just lay down. In fact, in this thumbnail you see me, I kind of green screened it to where I'm actually laying down with the headset resting on my face, and I have a Pro controller. That is the way you should play it, and I think that is probably the biggest reason why people are getting upset about it, is because they're not playing it right. Don't hold it up to your face like Nintendo tries to tell you, and don't use the head tracking. That right away will give you such a much better experience, because I put it on and immediately felt sick because I was moving my head. The frame rate, I happened to be in Kakariko Village, not a good place to start out because the frame rate's bad, and it was not good. But I turned motion controls off, and all of a sudden it was a completely different experience. So another thing that I will say is, do not, now this is kind of turning into a tips on how to play the game. Trust me, I'm going to get into my actual thoughts, but first off, do not play it like Nintendo wants you to play it. They suggest that you go to like a mountain range and then you just look over, and then you put the headset on, like you walk normally, like you just play the game without VR. You walk up to like a tall mountain, you put VR, you look over, you go, oh, that's cool, and then you stop. Don't do that. That's not how VR should be played. VR is an experience where you have to get your mind to believe things are actually happening, and that takes time. So I recommend at least 30 minutes to an hour to really get the full vision of VR, because your brain, after a while, it starts thinking it's actually in the game. Your brain starts thinking, I am actually, following Link around from a third-person perspective, and he's actually in the world of Hyrule, and we're actually doing things. Sorry for this bit of background noise, but I can't kind of control that. They're just my neighbors. And your brain trying to tricks you into thinking that you're actually there, and that is when it starts to be a game changer, because it's completely different viewing Breath of the Wild in 3D than it is not. And I've had some people be like, oh, isn't VR just, it's close to your head and it's, it's big. No, it's not just big, close to your head. Not trying to insult anybody who thinks that, but, it's not. It's actual 3D. Imagine living your whole life with one of your eyes just gone. You didn't have an eye. You saw everything without depth perception. And then all of a sudden you had two eyes. You have depth perception. You can tell how far and how big. You can see the scale and the scope, the width and the breadth and the heights and the depths. And that's kind of what all Zelda is about. I feel like Zelda's, one of its biggest draws is the vistas. It's going onto a mountain to be able to see for miles, and just how big the world is and how cool the world is. And you don't really get that with 2D. When you're in VR, things feel differently. It's strange. It's like everything when you're viewing on a 2D on a TV, it's smaller than it actually is, and your brain doesn't really comprehend how big things actually are. And when you put it into VR and you see things in 3D and you're much closer up to them, you can see just how big everything is. It's kind of like if somebody took a video camera and they went into like a cave or something and they were like, oh, look at this cave, look how big it is, or oh, look at this waterfall, and you're like, okay, that looks kind of cool, versus actually being there in that cave or being at that waterfall in real life. It's completely different. And anybody who's ever taken like video of scenery knows that it's completely different being there than watching a picture. And that's the difference that Breath of the Wild makes. It's more like being there. You don't realize how big things actually are. Like bokoblins, they're pretty big. Even like the choo-choos, like the big blue choo-choo jellies, they're huge, man. They're giant. And you just don't quite understand this when it's in 2D. It's just a completely different way of seeing and experiencing the world. And it's, in my opinion, is an absolute game changer for Breath of the Wild. Now, I will concede that the resolution is very low. It's not pretty, but I mean, we're Nintendo fans. We're used to taking hits to graphics and, you know, just straight raw, you know, graphical power for a better, cooler, more unique experience, and I feel like that's what you're getting with this. It's a very Nintendo thing to do, so if you're a Nintendo fan, you're kind of already used to taking graphical hits, and it's still absolutely beautiful. I think the game scales very well down to lower resolutions. Just its art style is still beautiful. Now, if a Switch Pro came out and it had a 1080p screen, we got to play it on that with higher resolution, I think it'd be even better, but I still think it's absolutely awesome, and I do think that if you're a big Zelda fan, that buying Labo VR just for Zelda is worth it. Now, I do think Labo VR is awesome. I got the blaster set, so just the basic starter set, and I love it. I think the blaster minigame is super cool, and it's just really fun. And I feel like Zelda, however, is what I'm going to be playing for a long time. I'm playing my entire Master Mode run from now on, except in streams, in VR, because I think it's just that cool. I think experiencing the world and really, and if you play it how Nintendo wants it, you really don't get that experience because you don't understand everything about it. It's not just the big vistas that are impressive in VR. In fact, those aren't nearly as impressive as just walking around and doing puzzles normally. Just the scale that it adds and the depth that it adds is something that really I can't even subscribe. That's what you should be doing to my channel. No, describe is the word that I wanted. I can't even describe what that is. You have to try it for yourself. It's like it's if you've ever gone and seen a 3D movie, it's like that. It feels very much that way. You see just how big everything is, how much depth there is to it, and just seeing a movie in 2D versus 3D, just not the same. But it's even more than that because it's like feels your whole vision and your brain actually gets tricked to being like you're actually there, and it's just one of the most immersive, things you can ever do, in my opinion. And opening up a tower and actually riding a tower, like that animation where you start opening up a tower in Breath of the Wild, is probably one of the coolest things you can do in like gaming in general in VR. If you do that in VR, it's absolutely amazing. The views you get is awesome. So yeah, I do think Breath of the Wild is a game changer, and I just think it's awesome. So yeah. Thank you guys all for watching. Let me know what you think of Breath of the Wild in VR and just Labo in general. If you have it, Labo VR in general, if you have that, let me know what you think of it. And if you're, going to try it out, definitely I recommend it. It's like $40 for the starter kit. If you love Breath of the Wild and you love just immersion in your games, I think it's definitely worth it. But thank you guys all for watching. I'll see all you guys later on What About Nintendo. Bye.